Hi students, welcome. I am Dr. Majini Jeswalla, Assistant Professor, Wales Institute of Science, Technology and Advanced Studies. In this video, we can see the capital account. I have given two exercises for better understanding. I will read the question. Exercise number 1. Show how the following items will appear in the capital account of the partners Babu and Gobu when their capitals are fluctuating. Partners Babu as well as the Gobu are there. The particulars column, capital on 1187 for Babu 8 lakhs, Gobu 7 lakhs. Drawings, Babu 1,60,000, Gobu 1,40,000. Interest at 5% on drawings, 4,000 for Babu, 2,000 for Gobu. Shares of profit for 1987, 84,000 for Babu, 66,000 for Gobu. Then interest on capital at 6%. 48,000 for Babu, 42,000 for Gobu. Salary 72,000 for Babu. For Gobu, there is no salary. Now we can see the partner's capital account. We have to put 3 columns in the debit side as well as 3 columns in the credit side. Debit side particulars column, then 2 amounts column. One is for Babu and another one is for Gobu. In the credit side also we have to put 3 columns. Particulars column, then 2 amount column. One is for Gobu and another column is for Babu. Then we can see the balance which was mentioned in the question. We can write it by balance BD. For Babu 8 lakhs, Gobu 7 lakhs. Profit they have given in the question, so we can write it by profit. 84,000 for Babu, 66,000 for Gobu. Then by interest on capital, 48,000 for Babu, 42,000 for Gobu. By salary, 72,000 for Babu. For Gobu, there is no salary. You come to the debit side, 2 drawings. Babu 1,60,000, Gobu 1,40,000. Then 2 interest on drawings. For Babu 4,000, Gobu 2,000. Equalize both sides. First we can see the Babu total. In the credit side, total is higher than the debit side total. When we are totaling it, we will get 10 lakhs 4,000. We will write both sides in the debit as well as credit side, 10 lakhs 4,000. After putting the total, we can subtract that debit side amount. We will get the balance 8,40,000 for Babu. So we can write it to balance CD, 8,40,000. Then we can total it for Gobu, 8,08,000. In the credit side total, when we are subtracting the debit side total, we will get the 6,66,000. Equalize both sides, 8,08,000. So we can write it to balance CD for Gobu, 6,66,000. That balance we have to brought down for the next year. So we can write it by balance BD. For Babu, 8,40,000. For Gobu, 6,66,000. And we can see the exercise number 2. I will read the question. On 1st January 1991, Kavita and Sumadhi entered into partnership and contributed rupees 80,000 and 60,000 respectively. They share profits and losses in the ratio of 3:2. Sumadhi is to be allowed a salary of rupees 16,000 per year. Interest on capitals is to be allowed at 5% per annum. 5% interest is to be charged on drawings. During the year, Kavita withdrew rupees 12,000 and Sumadhi rupees 24,000. Interest being Kavita rupees 280 and Sumadhi rupees 200. Profit in 1991 before the above noted adjustment was rupees 42,320. Show the distribution of profits between the partners and prepare capital accounts when they are fluctuating and when they are fixed. Now we can see the solution part. The profit and loss appropriation account, we have to prepare it. For the calculation of profit and loss appropriation account, we have to put 3 columns in the debit side as well as 3 columns in the credit side. Debit side, date column, particulars column, then amount column. In the credit side also we have to write it date column, particulars column, amount column. We can write the credit side amount by net profit BD. Net profit balance brought down is 42,000 320 it was given in the question. Then by interest on drawings. For Kavita interest is 280 and Sumati is 200. We have to write it in the inner column. Then we have to put the total in the outer column. 280 plus 200 is equal to 480. We can write it in the outer column. Then you come to the debit side. In the particulars column, to Sumati's capital, that is the salary which was mentioned in the question, 16,000. So we can write it in the amount column. To Sumati's capital, we can write 16,000. Then to interest on capital. For Kavita 4,000, we have to write it in the inner column. Then Sumati 3,000. Put the total 4,000 plus 3,000. 7,000. We should write it in the outer column. After that, we have to equalize both sides. In the credit side, total is higher than the debit side total. 42,800. The total value is 42,800. After that, we should subtract the debit side total. We will get the profit 19,800. We can write it to profit. This profit we should transfer to the both partners. That is the Kavita's capital as well as Sumati's capital. 19,800. Based on the profit sharing ratio, we have to transfer. For Kavita, 19,800 into 3 by 5. We will get 11,880. For Sumati, 19,800 into 2 by 5. We will get 7,920. This is the profit we have to transfer to the both partners. Then we can see the partners capital account under fluctuating capital method. Here also we have to put 3 columns in the debit side as well as 3 columns in the credit side. Debit side particulars column and 2 amount column. One is for Kavita and another one is for Sumati. In the credit side also particulars column, then 2 amount column for Kavita as well as Sumati. Now we can say the balance given in the question. So we can write it by balance BD. 80,000 in the column of Kavita, 60,000 in the column of Sumati. Then by salary. For Kavita there is no salary. For Sumati salary amount is 16,000. So we can write it that 16,000 in the Sumati amount column. Then by interest on capital. For Kavita 4,000. So we can write it in the Kavita amount column 4,000. Sumati 3,000. We can write it that 3,000 in the Sumati amount column. Then by profit and loss appropriation account. Before that we have calculated the profit in the profit and loss appropriation account and we have segregated there also. That balance we have transferred here. For Kavita 11,880, for Sumati 7,920. Then you come to the debit side, drawings. 2 drawings. In the Kavita amount column 12,000, Sumati 24,000. Then interest on drawings. For Kavita 280, for Sumati 200. After that we have to equalize both sides. First we can put the total for Kavita. In the Kavita amount column, in the credit amount is higher than the debit side total. In the Kavita total amount is 95,880. After subtracting the debit side total, we will get 83,600. So we can write it to balance CD. In the Kavita amount column, 83,600 we have to write it. Then you come to the Sumati's calculation. For Sumati, the total value is 86,920. When we are subtracting the debit side total, we will get the balance 62,720. So we can write it to balance CD. For Sumati, 62,720. Both balance we have to brought down here. So we can write it by balance BD. For Kavita 83,600, for Sumati 62,720. Then we can see the fixed capital method for partners capital account. Here also we have to put 3 columns in the debit side as well as 3 columns in the credit side also. Debit side, particulars column, amount column for Kavita as well as Sumati. Then the credit side also the particulars column, then the amount column for Kavita as well as Sumati. The balance given in the question. So we can write it by balance BD. For Kavita 80,000, Sumadhi 60,000. For debit side there is no other amount is there. So directly we can go for the equalization and find out the balance. For Kavita we can put the total 80,000. Sumadhi debit side there is no other values there, so we can get the total the 80,000 alone. So we can write it to balance CD for Kavita 80,000. Then you come to the calculation of Sumadhi. The total value is credit side is 60,000. For debit side there is no value. So the balance amount is also the same 60,000. To balance CD for Sumadhi 60,000. We have to brought down both values. So we can write it by balance BD in the Kavita amount column 80,000. Sumadhi amount column 60,000. Then we can see the partner's current account. For the calculation of partner's current account, debit side put 3 columns, particulars and the amount column for Kavita as well as Sumadhi. In the credit side also particulars column, then 2 amount column for Kavita as well as Sumadhi. Okay. Now we can move for the calculation by salary. Salary is only for the Sumadhi alone. So in the Kavita amount column there is no salary, nil value. In the Sumadhi amount column we can write it 16,000. Then interest on capital. So we can write it by interest on capital. For Kavita 4,000, for Sumadhi 3,000. Then profit and loss appropriation account. That is the profit we have calculated. For Kavita 11,880. For Sumadhi 7,920. Then you come to the debit side. Drawings are there. We can write it 2 drawings. For Kavita 12,000. Sumadhi 24,000. Then interest on drawings. 2 interest on drawings. In the amount column of Kavita 280. Amount column of Sumadhi 200. After that we can equalize. First we can equalize the Kavita amount column. In the Kavita amount column total is 15,880. In the debit side total you have to subtract it. You will get the balance 3,600. So we can write it to balance CD 3,600. Then we can move for the Sumadhi's total. We will get 26,920. After subtracting the debit side total, we will get 2,720. So we can write it to balance CD for Sumadhi 2,720. Both balance we have to brought down by balance BD. For Kavita 3,600. For Sumadhi 2,720. Thank you.